Hey guys, Brad here with Arizona Grows. Just wanted to do a quick intro to this week's video. I had this problem with my mic where it wasn't charged, so it kept turning the video off and I didn't notice because I was actually working and doing stuff in the garden, building the soil. So the good news is we're going to rebuild soil again in about a month when we close out the 5x5 because we've got another tray to grow to go in there to replace our easy to grow systems. The bad news is this video's kind of piecemeal. It's all kind of coming together. It's a little bit weird. On the plus side, it did show us make the soil. We got it all in there. We're about to start the autos again for Daz. We're going to do some Daz Nightflower autos in the veg tent. It's going to be very exciting. I just wanted to tell you, if you get bored with this video or you don't like it, you can just skip through it. We'll have a regular video coming out on Monday. Just wanted to get this one out, or Tuesday. We just wanted to get this one out, let you guys see how I build the soil from scratch in a brand new tray to grow. Didn't kind of work out the way I wanted, but it's still okay. It'll give you the idea what to do, and then next month, when we do it again, you'll know and you'll be able to follow along and be like, oh, I saw him do this last time, but now I understand a little bit better. Or maybe you understand the first time. But I just wanted to show you. So that's it. Brad here, Arizona Grows. Happy growing. Merry Christmas. Hey everybody, we're back. We are in the 4x4 Mars Hydro tent under the FCE 3000. Right now the only thing we have in here is our giant tomato plant. I'll show you that after I start doing this. But we are putting together our brand new tray to grow. You can see it's totally empty. I am about to build the soil right now. I have taken the liberty of putting together some of my amendments already to make this faster. I will talk about them as I put them in. Hopefully I won't be muffled or anything. I might put a mask on in the beginning while I do the rocks. But everything looks good. Tray to grow is exactly where we want it. It's level. It's important that it's level. And that's it really. I've got the pad in underneath, the copper sheet, and then we have this fabric pot right here on top. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is add a little layer of pumice at the bottom. You don't have to do a full layer, but I want to make sure there's more rocks at the bottom than there is soil on the very bottom. Just can go through. And we're going to do a little layer just to the rocks. And this isn't even an inch, guys. We're talking like the one rock depth here across the bottom. Nothing crazy. So we're just doing one rock across the bottom. And then the next thing I'm going to do is start with my first thing of nutrients. So you can see what it looks like, I hope. This is my worm castings from myself. Gaia Green, all-purpose 444, Gaia Green Power Bloom. It also has Montana Grow, Biofish from Down to Earth, and Ole Mountain Compost and Craft Blend. So it's super nutrient dense feed, right? It's everything you would want. It's all the worm castings, it's all the biology, it's everything. So over that layer of rocks, the initial rocks, we're going to do this whole, I don't know, it's not 5 gallons, it wasn't all the way full, but 3 gallons. 3 gallons of nutrients. So this is all nutrients, worm castings, that's all this is, and compost, and some rock dust. And we're just doing a layer of that first. This is all of our wonderful biology. As the roots go down and they hit this, when we're growing, they're going to be so happy. It's like they're going to hit this reserve of food, and it's going to be amazing. And then we're going to do some coco. I like to use Royal Gold coco. Now, I know Jeremy at Build the Soil is a huge fan of is peat moss, and they do all their stuff through peat moss. I am a cocoa guy, and I like to do all my stuff with cocoa. So this is Royal Gold cocoa. It's my favorite cocoa. Comes pre-buffered, so you don't have to worry about washing it or anything, adding calcium and stuff, phosphorus, whatever it's short in when you buy the bricks. This won't happen with Royal Gold. And this is pure cocoa. You can get a better look at it. It's pure cocoa. No perlite, no any weird stuff. I'm just gonna smooth this out really quick on top of that. We're not a third of the way full yet, maybe a quarter of the way full, and then on top of this we're going to do another layer of hummus. Now this one's going to be a little thicker because we're going to work it in with the stuff, and we're going to do another layer of cocoa right on top of it. Hummus, cocoa. Cocoa. So no big deal. You can take a look in here. It's just the pumice and the cocoa. Now I'm just going to mix it together with my hand. You don't have to be a rocket science to do this. I'm just going to come in because we want this pumice to be mixed in. Now the goal here necessarily isn't to get down to that layer we created and do a full super mixing. We're just trying to make sure this layer here is light and fluffy. And one thing, because we're building this for autoflowers, that we're going to do is we're going to make sure this is extra light and fluffy. I was listening to the podcast when Daz was on, Daz Night Owl, from Night Owl Seeds, and he talked exclusively about how your autoflower soil needs to be light and fluffy. And he likes Build a Soil 3.0. He says it's almost perfect, or is perfect. Not a lot to improve on, or if nothing. But I like using cocoa as my base. But the one thing I've never done is added rice holes. And we're going to start doing that right now. Give me 1 second. I got to get them off the shelf. Alright, and we're back. And this is the rice holes from Build a Soil. The only weird thing I can say about these is they're like air. But also that Build a Soil sent them to me in a big black trash bag, which I thought was funny because normally they have all their branding and stuff on point. When I got these, it was just in a big, huge, like Glad trash bag. It's funny. So we're going to do a little layer of rice holes in here. And rice holes do more than just lighter aeration. They also, when they break down, add some really cool nutrients and some silica to the mix. These aren't for any real purpose. I'm just going to scatter these across the top here like a buffer layer. Alright, and then we're going to go back in with a little more cocoa. Then we'll do our next nutrient layer and we'll go from there. Alright, so there's some cocoa. Nice big layer. And in this cocoa again. Man. Alright guys, we're back. I guess when I turned on the video I didn't show the last part. Not sure what happened there. Not a huge deal. We'll take a quick look. But what I did is I put the rice holes in. Rice holes from Build a Soil. I talked about these. These actually were funny because they came in a big black trash bag. And I thought it was hilarious because Build a Soil normally always ships stuff in those awesome bags, you know, all branded and stuff. Nope, big black trash bag for these. It was kind of funny. It could have been because it was Black Friday and they just ran out of their bags. So we did that. We're on it. And what happened was, so I did just a layer of rice holes down there flat, just across. I didn't mix them in, I didn't do anything. Then we put the cocoa down, and then I put the pumice right on top of it. So right now I'm just going to mix the pumice and the cocoa together, and then I'm going to grab my other bag, my other thing, and nutrient mix. You might hear the dogs going crazy in the background. That means my wife is out feeding the cats outside. She's feeding the ferals. She's such a nice lady. We have these cats outside and we take care of them. We get them some dewormer drugs and stuff, flea and tick medicine, because they're around our property. And they're just crazy outside feral cats. If you ever look it up in Arizona and Phoenix, we definitely have feral cats, and we have feral cat laws to protect them. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but that's what we do. And my wife is so nice. She put a little cat house out for the one that hangs around our house, and it's got food. Now we've got 2 of them that hang around. They're super nice, and they just kind of patrol. Plus, cats are good for making sure you don't have, you know, a bunch of mice or predators or anything weird running around your house. You know, the cats are taking care of that shit because they like to hunt stuff all the time. All right, so that's just some rice holes again. I'm just going to flatten these out. And the reason we're doing these instead of all pumice again is because we listened to Daz on the Night Owl on the podcast, and he was talking about it. And he talked about how autoflowers don't like to run into any resistance when they are being grown, you know. So resistance in the roots can be a problem, and I think that's what happened when I tried to do the grow off with him. I'm still super ashamed of that, guys, that I failed in that so spectacularly. I feel like that's my one big failure as a grower. Like, I tried to do this grow off and I totally screwed it up, and it sucked because Daz is such a nice guy, and I really wanted to help highlight his stuff. He's been so cool to me personally, just answering questions and talking to me, and he doesn't have to take the time to do any of that. I'm just a nobody, you know, just a normal guy at his house. I'm not a cool breeder or somebody's in the game or somebody's gonna make a lot of money off of, and he still took the time out of his day to help me. I just think that's super cool. I hope in the future, if I ever start breeding and doing some stuff, that I can do those same kind of things for people, help them just kind of come up in the game. All right. Ooh, there's a big chunk there at the end. Let's make sure we get it all. We're just going to mix this in really quick. And just so you know, for reference, this was about, I don't know, in total, 8 gallons of worm castings in here from my personal worm bin. And so this is a little heavy up top with all the nutrients and the compost and the worm castings. Ooh, there's a nice big rock. So I'm going to throw a little more pumice in here and some more rice holes. See if we can just break this up with the last of our cocoa. And that was one bag of Royal Gold cocoa that went in. Alright guys, so I think I figured out what was happening. My camera, god dang camera, I had the microphone wasn't charged right, so it was turning off my camera. So I don't even know until I go through this how much of this whole soil building process that you even got to see. Which is kind of sad for me because I spent a lot of time setting this up just so you could get in here and see it. But this is kind of a good example here of what we have going on. We have the pumice, the cocoa, the rice holes from Build a Soil, and then here you can see this is my worm casting mix. It's worm castings, cocoa, no it's not, no cocoa. It's worm castings, Ole Mountain compost, Gaia Green, 444 Power Bloom, Craft Blend. It's got the Ole Mountain compost in it, and that's it. Oh, and Montana Grow for our rock dust to give a little bit more stability, and the biofish from down to earth. So it's super rich. And then what we've been doing as we've been stacking, because I'm not sure how much of the other videos worked, if they worked at all. This is going to be kind of cobbled together, which is sad. So what we'll do to kind of fix that is, again, when I am building, I bought one more tray to grow. I got one more from Autopot. when I'm building it in the 5x5, I'll take everything out of the 5x5 so we have all the room in the world, and we'll rebuild that soil together. Because this video sadly is going to be kind of cobbled together with a bunch of weird crap, and I'm sorry about that. I needed to charge that microphone. I just charged it for like a whole day the other day, and it didn't. Apparently, it didn't hold the charge. So whatever. We are where we're at. So this is just layers of this. There's a 1-inch layer, not even an inch. There's a 1 stone thickness layer of this pumice on the ground. Not an inch, not a 1/4 inch, not a 1/2 inch, whatever this is. 1 stone's worth across the whole bottom of this pot. And then on top of that, I dumped a 3-gallon pot of my worm casting mix. Worm castings, Ole Mountain, 444, the Power Bloom, Craft Blend, Biofish, Montana Grow, which is rock dust. So there's 3 gallons of that down there. And then over that we layered pumice, and then we layered cocoa. This Royal Gold cocoa is so nice. And so we layered pumice, Royal Gold cocoa, and then we started adding the rice hulls about halfway, not even halfway, maybe 1/3 of the way up. We started adding the rice hulls to that to make it a little more fluffy. You can just see they're basically like air. And so we did that. And that's where we're at. So we did our last batch of the castings and stuff, and now we have rice hulls and pumice and a little bit of cocoa. We're going to mix this right now and find out if we need any more room, but everything in here looks really good. These autoflower guys, they're going to be so happy in this mix, I think. I mean, the whole point of this for me was to listen to what Daz was saying, and Daz was saying autoflowers really, really like a light and fluffy mix. And if they run into resistance with their roots, that's where you can have problems. So my goal for this was definitely to take his advice. I mean, the man breeds autoflowers for a living, so if you're discounting his advice, you're probably not doing yourself any favors. Just because not only does he breed autos for a living, but he's probably, in my mind, he's the best autoflower breeder there is. And I've tried Mephisto, and I've tried a bunch of the others. The thing is when it comes to quality, it feels like it's always just Daz. Daz is just consistently delivering quality. And that's why I was so upset with myself when I messed up that grow off, guys, first thing, because I really wanted to highlight his stuff and show how incredible it was. And then I just totally foobarred it. And I still think about it. So I'm excited to finally get this bed going in here, because we're finally going to get to show off some of Daz's autoflowers in the right way, which we used to do in our hydro buckets when we were rocking hydro. Man, I worked a lot of those autos, and I just crushed them. But then we would get to the summer, and my water temperatures was changed, and I didn't know. I was such a new grower. I was like, why can't I grow in the summer? It's because I needed a chiller, and I didn't want to buy one. And so we just kind of ended up switching to organics, which has been the best thing in my life. Growing food now, doing all kinds of stuff. We're just really mixing this all in. It's almost like a compost bucket. It's crazy. Just getting it. There'll probably be some worms in here because of the worm castings, because they came out of my bin and I only did a light sort on them, which means there's, some straw in here and some stuff at the bottom too. I don't know, that feels pretty good to me. Might need to lighten it up even a little bit more. The last thing we need to do is just water it in. I'm going to water it in with some of that biology, the BTI from Build the Soil. Try and make sure that, if there's any fungus gnats and those amendments and stuff, that we get the larva killed before it even has a chance to get started. And it's crazy. After you mix it with the wet castings and stuff, all this stuff feels wet already. I mean, it's not ready, you can tell, because it's not holding together. But it's light and fluffy, feels moist. Gosh, I'm excited to try this out. Never used the rice hulls before. It's going to be super interesting. kind of like the grow off, I'm sad this video did not go the way I planned because the microphone was out of power and it kept turning off my camera and I couldn't see the thing that it was off. I spent a lot of time building this soil and talking about it while I was doing it, and I don't think it caught any of it. Oh man, which is kind of sad. So here's the consistency right now. It's a little bit rice holey for me, maybe a little too much, but we're gonna build it up with some more. I could probably even do a little bit more cocoa up there. You know what? I have another bag. I'm just gonna grab a little and put it on top. Guys, and if you don't know, I use Royal Gold cocoa. Sometimes it's really hard to find just their straight cocoa. My God, it is so good. It's pre-washed and buffered, so you don't have to worry about it. Let me move this real quick. I'll just do a little bit, just enough. Now we're gonna have to sweep the tent before we close up for the day. Oh man, I'm tired. Building a big thing of soil is some work, boy. Especially when you're a fat old man. Gotta get in here, do the work. Alright, so we get this cocoa in here. And we might add a little more pumice on the top, too. So we don't want it to be heavy. Man, I think this soil is going to be so good for these autos. This cocoa is such a nice light medium, and now it's filled with rice hulls and pumice. We're going to throw a little more pumice on the top. All right, look at that. We're just mixing it all in, guys, by hand. No big deal, layer by layer. Just kind of going through, making sure we're good. And we want to leave this room up at the top, so as we top dress and do other things, we're going to be there. But I really think these rice hulls are going to be the difference maker. We've never added them. When I do my photo periods, we don't use them. They're not in any of my cocoa mixes over there. Those are all lava rock and cocoa, or cocoa and pumice, or cocoa, pumice, and lava rock, but none of them have any rice hulls in them. So it's kind of a new experiment for us. You know, we just want to make sure everything is light and fluffy. Roots are digging through. We're not running into any resistance. That's what Dad said was the key. The autoflowers do not like resistance in the roots. So we tried to keep that in mind as we built this new soil, with more rice hulls, because we've never used them before. There's probably 4 or 5 gallons in here now. Fantastic. So that's the autoflower soil for the run. And then the reason I've been so constrained in here for space is these are my tomato plants. And I'm starting to trellis them up the thing. But that's where we're at, guys. I hope you got something out of this. I know the video didn't work quite the way I wanted it to, but I will, in another month or so, be building this again in my other tent, and I will make sure that everything is charged and ready and good, and we will put it together and it'll be awesome. So if you didn't get anything out of this, wait about a month and a half when we pull down the 5x5, and I'll be doing it one more time. All right, everybody, Brad here, Arizona Grows. Happy growing.